Good afternoon, 1101 class. I'd just like to talk about the second unit that we are moving into. And for the second unit, I like to focus on a specific strategy that is the persuasion strategy with a little bit of the exemplification strategy sprinkled in there. So what is persuasion? How do we be persuasive? Well, there are lots of ways to be persuasive, but really what it means to be persuasive is that you put forth an argument, okay? And so an argument or a claim is what you really want to focus on when we get into this second unit. What is an argument? Now, a lot of you may think that an argument is when you get into a squabble with your little brother or sister over who gets the last Twinkie. That's not the kind of argument that we're talking about. Those kinds of arguments are very rarely productive and usually end up with someone getting their feelings hurt. Or someone not getting a Twinkie, which is, very rarely do they end in compromise. Let's take half the Twinkie each. No, that doesn't happen. So what we want to do is focus on argumentation. Now, how do we make an argument? Well, we have to distinguish between an argument and an observation. Okay, so just like an observation about the material universe. Let's say that we have a red pen, right? Here's my red pen. I say the pen is red. That is an observation, right? You really can't argue with the pen being red because there it is. It's right in front of you. It's red. So, there's no point in putting forth an observation and then trying to prove it. You're wasting your time, right? So it has to be something that needs proof. It can't be obviously true, right? Your argument needs to be something that, oh, okay, well, I can see that, but let's see the evidence, right? So let's look at our red pen again. Now, if I were to say, the pen is red because the professor knows that red has a very strong effect on people's psychology, and when they get a pen, when they get a graded document that is covered in red, it makes them understand the gravity of their many mistakes, and therefore they learn better. That might be true. I think it probably is true to some degree. But what would I need to prove that? I would need evidence, right? I would need to show like research that people had done on the effect of various colors on graded documents. I don't know if such research exists. If I really wanted it, I could create it myself and do it myself, right? But then I would need degrees and credentials and all that other stuff to make sure that that went the way it was supposed to. So your thesis statement. Now, you guys know about the thesis statement from the first essay. The first essay, we had like 5 different strategies. You may still be working on it. And you could choose a strategy, and you needed a thesis statement. And basically, the way the thesis statement was described for most of those was like the main idea. Like, this is the big point, the big picture. So what I want you to do is think about the thesis as being your umbrella claim. Okay? So what is an umbrella? It's something that covers everything. So your umbrella claim, like your big argument that you're going to make for the essay. Okay, and you guys are going to choose your own topics for the most part. I do have a list of example topics, but what I find is that a lot of times my head is not in the same place that your head is. And so a lot of times people look at my topics and they're like, what do you mean you want me to write about artificial intelligence in the workforce? And I'm like, okay, well, that's not your thing. It's not your thing. So I'm giving you the option to basically, you're doing the persuasive strategy and you're going to be using examples. These examples are going to be coming from secondary sources. So we're mixing the persuasion and the exemplification strategy to some degree, okay? And so you know that you're going to have to make an umbrella claim, a thesis, that you're going to have to find evidence to prove. So what is it that interests you? What are you interested in when it comes to choosing a topic? Is there some big issue in society today that you feel particularly connected to? Like, I've had several students that have very strong opinions about nuclear power, for example, and they want to write the nuclear power essay, pro or con. That's a great topic, right? I had another student write about algae blooms and how to stop them from happening. Algae blooms, if you don't know, they're like blooms of algae in the ocean that are caused by phosphorus runoff from the agriculture, and this creates, it basically makes it to where the fish can't live and destroys marine life. So this student wrote an essay about algae blooms and how to prevent them. I thought that was cool, right? So you can select your topic. If you need an example topic, I can provide some for you. A lot of times students aren't satisfied with those, but I do my best. So your thesis statement, umbrella claim, big argument that you're going to be making about the topic of your choice. And then we move on into topic sentences, which we also talked about to some degree in the last essay. Topic sentences are basically the first sentence of your body paragraphs, right? So you have one intro, 3 body, and a conclusion in your normal five-paragraph essay. Your 3 body paragraphs each have a topic sentence. It's the first thing that comes in. Bam, topic sentence, right? So what is the topic sentence? It's a focused or specified claim, okay? So if your thesis was the umbrella claim, the umbrella over your head, your topic sentences are the focused or specified claims that you're going to make in each paragraph. So you basically break down your argument. You can think of it, if you have an umbrella, it's like your thesis is the big umbrella itself, and then the topic sentences are like the spokes of the umbrella that hold it all together. And they're more specified. They're more in a linear direction, if that makes sense. I probably just confused half of you. I try. I really do. So when you have claims, you need evidence. Now, the topic sentences make claims too. Keep that in mind. If it doesn't sound like an argumentative assertion, I believe this, or don't say I, right? Try to get the first person I out of there. But this is true because of this reason, therefore we should do this, right? So that's the kind of argument that you're making. You're putting forth an assertion, right? If the topic sentence, it doesn't have to be exactly be that formula. It needs to be an assertion. You make an assertion, you put it out there into the ether, and then you need proof or evidence, okay? So where are you going to get your evidence? Well, your evidence is going to come from most of it's going to come from this place called Galileo, right? And so Galileo, here, I got it here. Galileo. Okay, Galileo is a search engine, basically, that the school has access to. It's a database, and it pre-screens for scholarly stuff you can use in a school setting. The problem is that Galileo will yield search results that you can't really use because a lot of the times they're too juvenile. Like it's, they'll give you like elementary school textbooks. You'll get any Galileo search. Well, obviously you can't use that on a college essay, right? So we have to use some discretion when we use our Galileo sources. But you have access to a link on Galileo through Blackboard, the Blackboard homepage. I believe it's at the bottom left. They may have moved it around. Just look around and see if you see the Galileo. And you click on that, and it should take you straight through it. Sometimes there are login problems. Sometimes you need a password if weird situations. But most of the time, it'll just take you right in there, and you can start running searches for your whatever it is that you're studying. So if you're studying algae blooms, you type in algae blooms. Okay, you get a certain amount of stuff. Well, let's say you only get some stuff on algae blooms. You didn't find enough. Okay, well, then you got to change your search terms, right? And then you switch it up to, all right, well, algae blooms are caused by phosphorus runoff. So maybe if I do research on phosphorus runoff, it'll help me with my algae bloom paper. So then I type in phosphorus runoff, and I see what comes up. Maybe I find some more stuff, some more scholarly stuff. But that's basically how we're going to do the research. You're going to provide evidence. When you structure your body paragraphs, you're going to be using something called the Peel formula. Okay, I like to break things down into formulas. You guys may remember, I don't know if I've mentioned hook, line, and sinker as my intro formula. But so the Peel formula is pretty simple to break down. First, you present the claim, okay? So the argument that you're making for that paragraph, it will be a smaller piece of the thesis, which is the big argument. Where does the thesis go, by the way? The end of the intro, right? So thesis at the end of the intro, topic sentence at the start of the bodies. You got present the claim, okay. Then you need to provide examples or evidence. These examples are going to come from a minimum of 2 scholarly sources. You probably want 3 because 3 body paragraphs is basically the requirement. But if you can use 1 source for 2 paragraphs, that's fine. Just don't get too repetitive. So 2 sources minimum, 3 sources is a good rule of thumb. Okay, and once you provide, now you're going to want to quote those sources. Okay, so you use quotation marks, and I would quote them directly. Some students like to paraphrase. The problem with paraphrasing is that if you paraphrase too much, a lot of times you can change what the author was trying to say by accident. So direct quotes are best. You use quotation marks and use something called a parenthetical citation, which goes at the end of the quote and is in parentheses with the author's last name and page number or range where that source can be located. Then I go to the works cited page and I figure it out. So if you want to review the MLA video I sent out last week, that can help you with some of that. So once you have quoted your example and your evidence, I need you to explain it to me in your own words, your analysis, okay? So and don't just assume that the evidence speaks for itself. Okay, I like to use this example. I say, and this is sort of a little, oh God, why do you use this example? Because it works, okay? Imagine there's a bloody knife on the table. Okay, let's just say we walk into a classroom one day as a group. The pandemic is over. We're back together again. We walk into a classroom and there's a bloody knife on the table. Okay, what does that mean? Think about it. What does it mean? You can come up with some theories, right? But unless somebody was there to witness the event, we don't really know. It could be that maybe there's some violence that happened and we should call the police. It could be that maybe someone for the drama production left a prop in the room, right? It could be that someone was gutting a deer in the parking lot and forgot to leave their equipment. There's all kinds of possibilities for the bloody knife. The existence of the bloody knife, that is to say, the existence of the evidence, does not itself explain what happened, right? You have to, in your own words, explain how the evidence proves the claim, okay? So it's present, evidence, explain, and then we get to the link or the transition to the next point, which is just a good rule of thumb. It's not as important as the other ones, but a lot of times you get that good transition statement, kind of move on to the next thing. It can help with the flow of the essay, which is very important. So as I said, minimum of 2 scholarly sources. You must use Galileo, okay? I'm looking for my Galileo card. Here we go. Galileo, okay? Famous guy in history. If you don't know him, look him up. You should know him. You really should. Okay, so the sources must be credible. They have to be credible. So what are credible sources? Well, that's going to bring me to my next video, which is over the CRAP credibility test. Another acronym for you. I love it. I love breaking things down into formulas. So I know this was all over the place. I'm trying to get you guys some materials to help you understand what's going on. If you have any questions whatsoever, you know how to find me. Brian.Murphy. Never mind, I'm not going to finish that. This is the internet. You know how to find my email address. Okay. Have a good one.